Lies, or GnR Lies by Guns N' Roses. It's a very short album. It's only 33 minutes. This video is going to be a lot longer than 33 minutes. Longer anyway, I don't know about a lot longer. I'm going to talk about this one, GnR Lies, Guns N' Roses, or just Lies if you prefer. You can also make the album title shorter. If you're pressed for time, you don't have time to say GnR Lies, you can just say Lies. So I'm going to talk about that shortly, but first I'm going to talk about, I don't like calling it a review or saying my thoughts on or my impressions on, but I also want to talk about the Guns N' Roses concert in Mexico City that I just saw. I just got home about 2 hours ago. It's 9:40 in the morning now. I got home at about 7:15 or 7:20. What a crazy, crazy day and night I had. And I'm still awake I woke up yesterday at 7:15 in the morning, and I've barely blinked since then, let alone slept. I haven't slept at all. That's 26 hours, 26 and a half hours that I've been awake. So I'm going to talk about my experience with Guns N' Roses at the Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes is what they call it. It used to be called Estadio Azul, which was much simpler, speaking about shortening things. I almost don't even know where to begin, so much to say. I woke up yesterday. Today is Saturday. The concert was yesterday, Friday, October 21st, and I saw them in Merida last Saturday. I did a video about that. If you'd like to look at that, you probably don't even want to watch this, let alone another one. And I explained this. I did one of my bootleg merch tours, and I explained this in the beginning of that, but maybe you won't see that, so I'll do it again here. I woke up yesterday, Friday, as normal, with no intentions, not really even any thought of going to see Guns N' Roses. They're playing 4 shows in Mexico on this little run that they're doing. They played Merida was first, then Guadalajara, Mexico City, and they're playing in Monterrey on, I don't know if it's tomorrow or Monday. Probably, yeah, it must be tomorrow. And these shows, the 3, Merida, Guadalajara, and Monterrey, were booked for 2020. They were obviously postponed to 2021. Those were obviously postponed, and then when they were postponed to get re-announced for 2022, they added Mexico City. I bought a plane ticket to go see them in Merida last year, thinking that that it would be safe by the time the concert came around in October 2021 to see them, and it was canceled a week or two before, or postponed, whatever. But I had already bought my plane ticket and booked hotels, and I went and I had a good time in Merida, but didn't see the concert. So when it was rebooked for this year, almost the same week, it was like mid-October, supposed to be mid-October last year, and it was mid-October this year, October 15th. I thought, I'm gonna go again. It's a good vacation. I had an awesome time doing everything in Merida, and I saw the concert, and yeah, I thought that was good enough for me. I don't need to even see them in Mexico City. I wanted to see them in Merida because I thought that was like a destination concert. I thought, Merida doesn't get concerts, and it's a great place to go. And I thought seeing them in Merida is enough. I don't need to see them in Mexico City. And then I woke up this morning, and as I said, I woke up at 7:15, had my breakfast, looked after my animals, started work at about 8 o'clock, and then around 10 o'clock in the morning, it occurred to me, I remembered, hey, Guns N' Roses is playing in Mexico City tonight. I want to go. But I knew, and I had tried to get tickets months and months ago when they went on sale. I always just get the cheapest tickets because I don't really care. I like to just, and they were unbelievably expensive. Even the cheap ones were. But when they went on sale, I forgot. This show, or I think these 4 shows are not run by Ocesa, which is the big promoter in Mexico. It would be like Live Nation in the United States, or I don't know where else. Tickets weren't sold through Ticketmaster. So for that reason, or I'm not sure what else, it just wasn't on my radar as much. So by the time tickets went on sale, I think I remembered like the next day or a couple days later, and the cheap tickets were sold out. And the next price that was available. It was just way too expensive. So I thought, oh well, I'll see them in Merida. So I saw them in Merida. And so this morning around 10 o'clock, I realized, yeah, I want to see them again. I really have the feeling to it. And I was working. So I started shifting my focus away from work and started but I thought, I think it's sold out. And I checked and it was sold out. There are like 8 sections or 8 price points. They were all sold out except one. And in that one price point that was not sold out, it was a light blue. There were one ticket here, one ticket here. They show the seating chart that shows the individual seats, and there were like one seat here in one section, one here. Some sections were completely sold out, and they were expensive. They were I can't even remember how much, a ridiculous price. But I thought, I don't want to go to that. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I thought, how can I make this work? And sometimes I like to get kind of feedback from people. I like to, tell them what I'm thinking or what I have cooking, and maybe I'm kind of maybe hoping that I'll get encouragement from them, or probably not, wouldn't get discouraged, but encouraged to say, yeah, that would be, you should go do it. You're going to like it. And so I messaged 3 friends about that. I said, hey, I'm thinking about going to see Guns N' Roses tonight, just like a last minute thing. And of course, nobody was telling me not to go. And so the more I start to think about it, and I'm the kind of person that once I get an idea in my head of something that I want to do, almost nothing can stop me. I'm going to do it. Unless it's, something just like impossible. And I'm very, very organized, and I like to plan things, but I like to be spontaneous too. So I thought, fuck, I got to make this happen. So I started messaging people and seeing about tickets and seeing what time. My car can't drive in Mexico City on Friday because of pollution laws. Some cars, can't go on Monday or Tuesday depending on your license plate. My car can't go on Friday, so I had to take a bus, which is not a problem because I've done that hundreds of times. And I actually like it, but then the problem is the last bus coming back to my city. I live about 70 kilometers south of Mexico City. For me to come back, the last bus is at like 11:30 or something, and the concert, I thought it's going to end. Merida ended at, it was almost 1 o'clock. It was 1 o'clock in the morning when it ended. So I thought Mexico City is going to be the same. And I thought, then I got to stay at a hotel, which also adds to the cost. In addition to the cost of the ticket, the cost of the bus. I thought, I don't want to spend money on a hotel too. And then food, eating out and things like that. And then I thought, okay, well, what I can do is I'll check to see when the first one that leaves Saturday morning is. And I checked and it was at 5:40 this morning. So I thought, okay, well, once the concert ends, I'll go to the bus terminal and just, hang out there for 3-4, however many hours. And then I'll get the first bus back at 5:40 in the morning, which is what I did. The bus left at 5:40 or 5:45. I was in my house at 7:15 or 7:20 or something. Which is funny because that's right when I'm starting my day. And I never sleep in. I wake up at 7:15 every 6 days a week, sometimes even 7 days a week, sometimes even earlier. I never sleep in. So it was strange for me getting home at 7:15 now after having not slept all day or all night and being awake at that point for 24 hours. Now I'm all buggered because I don't know what to do. I feel like it's now 9:45. And I feel like should be ending my day, but I also feel I have the sun in front of me. It's a beautiful sunny blue sky. I feel like I'm just starting my day. I should work. I should be productive. And I'm not tired. I have almost endless energy. I'm getting away from Guns N' Roses. I'll get back to that. So I don't know how I'm going to plan this day. If I take a nap or if I go to sleep now, I'm going to be fucked for 2 days. And I want to get out of my sleeping habits. Anyway, so I did go. Now, even just to get to the bus terminal in my city in Cuernavaca was a pain in the ass. I won't even go into that, but that was almost a disaster. I almost missed the bus. I literally ran, nonstop running, holding my jacket in my arm for about 8 minutes, nonstop running. I just ran and ran. It was hot. It was probably 26, 27 degrees. Got to the bus, huffing and puffing, sweating, carrying my jacket. Terrible experience. So I got to Mexico City, no problem. Ate, grabbed a torta, ate it as I walked, went to the stadium. Now, here's where it gets kind of, I don't even know where to begin with. This was just such a crazy thing. I always buy, I don't know if the camera can see, posters, these gig posters. They're specific to one show, and not every band has them, thankfully, because I would be broke and my walls would be entirely covered in posters. But when bands do have posters, I like to get one. I got there early enough that I thought, yeah, I can get one. And where do I go from here? There's a guy, and I talked to him today. I met up with him today, and I asked him if I could tell this story and say his name, and he says, yeah. This guy's called Damien. I think his last name is Dorr. And I had known him online. I guess he messaged me about 6 months ago. I can't remember how he found me, but he was asking me. He's American. He's from Oklahoma, I think. And he asked me. He was asking me some questions about Mexico. Is it safe? And what about renting a car? How do you get around? Because I think he was going to go to Cancun and then come to Merida, because they're about a 3 or 4 hour bus ride apart. And asking me all kinds of questions about Mexico, and I tried to help him out. And then he started asking me really dumbass questions, and I told him this when I talked to him tonight. I said, your questions sucked, and you're a pain in the ass. Sorry, Damien, if you do watch this, but all is forgiven, and I'll get to that. So I just ignored him. He sent me a machine gun fire barrage of dumbass questions after we'd been talking, pretty well, and I was answering them all. Kind of insulting, asking, is it safe to rent a car? Is it safe to rent a bus? Is it safe to go to a concert? Is it safe to look at the sun? Am I going to get sunburned if I go to the beach? I'm making some of those up. One of them, anyway. And it kind of got to the point where it was kind of insulting. I think, man, you're coming to my country, and do you think that I live every day of my life, where the 130 million people in this country are waking up every day wondering if it's safe to live their life? And so I just ignored him. This was, I think the last time he sent me those questions was 3 months ago. I don't know. And so I thought, no, okay, that's the end of that. And so I went to get the poster today. I got to the stadium around 5:30, I think. And all the official merch stands, you can see this in my video, were all outside. It was in a big stadium, and there's a street that goes all the way around the stadium. They were all bootleg merch stands. And also the official stands were outside. I saw at least 4, maybe 5. And the first one I went to, no posters. Second one, no posters. And I asked them, I said, are there any posters? They said no. They said all the ones outside, there's no posters. They're gone. Somebody bought them all. And there are no merch stands inside. I guess that was why they're outside, because the stadium is old and shitty, and it doesn't accommodate any extra space. I'll talk about that, what a disaster this stadium and this event was. My experience wasn't too bad, but I know it was really shitty for a lot of people. And so I thought, well, I can't get a poster. And then there are some Guns N' Roses like merch or poster memorabilia Facebook pages. And I saw just by coincidence that this guy, Damien, had bought like 50 posters. No joke, that he had bought 50 posters, and some people he was with had bought 40 or something each. And there were only 190 posters, I guess. This has a good ending, by the way. So if Damien's watching or whoever's watching, it has a good ending. And so basically, from what I understood, it was like 4 people who bought all the posters. And I was really mad about that. Not because I'm that desperate for a poster, but just out of principle. I thought, man, this is my city. I just want one poster. These people are obviously buying them to, I guess in most cases, to hoard them and to resell them, to flip them. And I thought that's just so insulting to me. All I want is one, and you people are buying 40 or 50, however much. So I sent Damien a message, and remember, I left him hanging from months ago with his questions that I didn't answer, and I said, are you still around? I said, please, please, please come and say hello to me, or come and find me. If you see me, come over and say something, because I don't know what the guy looked like. But I said I'm wearing a black. I was wearing this same Metallica shirt because as I said, I just got home, and I said I'm wearing I was wearing a black leather jacket. So I said I'm wearing a black leather jacket and shorts. If you see me, come and see me. Come and say something. And he replied within a minute or a couple minutes. He said, I think he said, I'm not there now. And right away he said, do you need a poster? So right away I thought, man, this guy is going to, charge me like 8 times the price for these posters, for this one poster that I want, because these posters can go for a lot of money, hundreds of dollars, some of them. And so I didn't tell him at that point that I knew that he had bought so many. I said, yeah, I just want a poster. Oh, and I wanted a poster for a friend too. I was the priority, but I wanted one for my friend as well. And so I said, yeah, I want one. And he said, I'm not going to the show. And that made me even more mad. I thought, this fucking guy is a fake, a fraud, a poser. He comes here, and it has a happy ending. Calm down. Nobody's watching this. I don't know who I'm talking to. So he comes here, he snatches up all the posters, and then just leaves. Doesn't even go to the concert. Like, total fake fan. And he said, yeah, I'm not even at the concert. He said, I'm at a restaurant. And he sent me a picture. He had taken a picture. He said, I'm at this restaurant. And he said, if you want, you can come to my hotel and get a poster. And I said, where's your hotel? And he said, actually, I don't want to, I'd rather not say that, which I understand. He doesn't, know me, or, it could be a security thing. And he said, well, I'm at this restaurant now, if you want to come and get one. And I thought, is he like scalping the posters, basically? How much is he going to charge me for it? And so basically I got that idea, and I told him, I said, fuck you, you're a fake. You come here, you come, with your friends, you're rich Americans, you've got enough money that you can afford. And he was going to all 4 shows. And I feel bad about saying this because he did turn out to be a good guy and everything worked out well, which I will eventually get to. And I'll get to the GnR lies as well, I promise. So I really got mad at him. I said, I think I even said, I hope someone punches you in the face. I wasn't saying that I would do that, but I said, I hope somebody punches you in the face. I was really mad, just on principle. This American, or these Americans, they can afford to take planes here, travel to all 4 shows around the country, take planes, come from the United States, fly to Merida, to Guadalajara, to Mexico City, to Monterrey, buy 40 posters, 30 posters, 50 posters, 70 posters, whatever it was. And then people like me who, I just want a poster because I went to the show, can't get one. So I said all this stuff to him, and he said, I was sending him voice messages because I got tired of typing. And I said, man, this is such bullshit. I said, you should be like ashamed of yourself. And he said, he got a little bit sarcastic. He said, cool story, bro, at some point. And I thought he was going to call me boomer at some point. He didn't. And then he said, yeah, I'm done with you. I've had enough. I don't have the energy to deal with this. I'm blocking you, which I thought, I'm kind of surprised he didn't do that after the first nasty message that I sent him. And then this is where the story got very, very strange, if you're still paying attention. I don't think I've ever once received a phone call on Facebook, especially not an unsolicited phone call. And it rang, and I thought, what the hell is this? And I looked, and he was calling me. Damon was calling me on Facebook. And I said, yeah. And he was actually, quite nice. He said, hey, I want to try to help you out here. I want to get you a poster. He said, I'm in this restaurant, and I knew exactly where that restaurant was. It was kind of far. It was farther than I thought. So, he was telling me, he said, I'm going to be here for a while. If you want to come and get a poster, I'll get the poster for you, and I'll get the poster to you. And so we kind of went back and forth, and I thought, why would he lie about that? What's he got to gain by, telling me to come meet him, and then I go there and he's not there. So, I thought about it and I thought, oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll go get a poster. So I said, okay, promise me, don't fuck me. I said, I'm really going out of my way to do this. Luckily, it was early enough. The concert was starting at 9. This was around 6 o'clock. So I had time to take care of this. So I walked kind of back to where the bus station was. I took a bus up there, which took probably about half an hour. And then I walked. I found him in this restaurant. Damien turned out to be the nicest guy, very, very friendly guy. He saw me walk in. Dan, I'm over here, because I didn't know what he looked like. And he had the posters there. He had them in a bag. The posters come in these plastic, I don't know if it's Mylar or what it is, but some kind of, like the comic book sleeves, a big plastic sleeve, poster size. He had them in a sleeve, and he even had a tube for me. I don't know if they were going to let me in with the tube. And he kind of I don't know if he actually apologized, but he said you know what, I want to make this right, and he said I could hear in your voice messages. He said you sounded really angry but very passionate and stressed and disappointed, and he said I guess his maybe his consciousness got the best of him, and he said I just want you to go, and I know you're a fan. I want you to go and have a good time. And not worry and have stress. So he, in the bag, he had 4 posters. He had 2 from Mexico City and 2 from Guadalajara, which I don't collect posters from shows I haven't been to. If I did, I just don't want to go down that path and become one of these collectors that obsessive. It takes over your life. So he said they're yours. You can resell them, do whatever you want with them. Free. He didn't charge me for the posters. He gave me 4 posters that could potentially be worth a lot of money. Now, I have a friend who did, from a year ago, when these shows were supposed to happen, well over a year ago, a friend that asked me if I could get posters for him, and I said yeah. And so he gave me this guy Damien, who 30 minutes previous I thought was just the biggest jerk in the world, and was cursing him literally, and I felt bad, and I apologized. I said, hey, all is forgiven, and I'm sorry for getting so angry, but try to see it from my point. He said, no, I totally understand. So we hugged. I think we might have kissed for a few seconds, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And he even invited me. He said, do you drink? I said, yeah. He said, come and have a beer. So I had a beer. He bought me a beer. And a really good guy. I could have, if not for the concert, we talked about music I was there for 15 or probably 20 minutes. And we talked about music. He's very knowledgeable, I think, about music. He likes a lot of the same bands that I do. Huge Pearl Jam fan like me. And so we talked about music, but I had to go get back to the concert. So I thanked him, and I thank you again, Damien, if you're watching. You did the right thing. You made everything good. And I apologize once more for thinking ill thoughts about you that I don't anymore. So that worked out great. More people should be like that. Be upfront. There's nothing wrong with if you want to make a little money, but to buy. And I asked him flat out. I said, how many? I said I saw the speculation that somebody had bought like 50, or somebody said 70, and I asked him straight up, how many did you buy? He said 30, and I told him, I said, that's shit. That's shitty. And he said, yeah. He said, but I trade some of them for other ones that I want, and he does sell some of them, but whatever. I have no problems with Damien. I'm very. I wish I could have just bought the posters at the concert in the first place. That would have saved me a lot of trouble and stress and time. But thank you again, Damien, for the entertainment, if you could call it that. Looking back on it, it's kind of a cool story, a funny story. At the time, it wasn't very good. So then I took the bus back. To take the bus back took about 45 minutes, because going back in the direction of the concert, everybody was going to the concert, so all the buses were full. There was tons of traffic, and it was not a very nice experience being on that bus for 45 minutes, but I made it back to the stadium. Now, to get to the actual concert itself, I've got some notes here that I wrote just to remind myself some points I want to go over. And I will get to lies, GnR lies, I promise. So I talked about the posters. A little quick thing. I was supposed to see Ringo Starr on Thursday, the night before Guns N' Roses. He tested positive for COVID about 2 weeks ago. And then he tested and canceled, I think, 6 or 7 shows upcoming. But Mexico is still on. He wasn't canceling that far ahead. And then he got better. He tested negative. He played another show or two. Then he tested positive again. And he said, yeah, I'm canceling the whole show. So I miss Ringo Starr. And I had thought all along, Ringo Starr is playing on Thursday, and also he was playing Friday too. The Ringo was supposed to play Thursday and Friday. I was going to see him Thursday. I thought maybe there's potential for a jam. Maybe Slash is going to come out, because I know Slash jams with everybody. I thought maybe he's going to come out and do something with Ringo Starr, because they were going to be in Mexico City at the same time. So I don't know if that ever would have happened, but I missed Ringo Starr and potentially a Guns N' Roses jam with Ringo Starr. So I missed Ringo. Canceled, not postponed. That show is not happening. A different experience about this compared to Merida a week ago. Merida, as I said in that video, it was 38 degrees Celsius that day. Humid. I walked 22 kilometers to get there. Or to get there and walking partway back. I walked long hours that day. Hot, humid, and Mexico City was, I think, around 22 degrees in the afternoon, and by night it was like 13 degrees, so I was wearing a jacket. Very, very different experience. And different crowd too. The crowd in Merida, I don't know if I think I did mention this when I talked about that video. I don't know if it's that they don't really have concert experience there, but they, applauded and screamed and everything when a song that they liked was starting, and then when it ended. But in the seconds between one song ending and the next one beginning, it was pretty silent. And in Mexico, it was more sustained. In Mexico City last night, it was more the crowd was more sustained, more chanting, more just a better venue too. Mexico City show was in an enclosed stadium. I mean, completely open, but it was like a round stadium. Whereas the one in Merida was just like a flat box. There was nothing really off the ground. Now, I forgot to mention, getting into the show was a nightmare. And there's a lot of angry people about this today. I noticed when I got back there after a meeting with Damien. I got back there about 8 o'clock. It was due to start at 9. There was no opening band. So I thought, okay, Guns N' Roses is playing at 9. And I noticed when I was out there doing my bootleg merchandise video, I saw long lines to get in, even for the seated areas, not general admission. I kind of took a mental note of that. And then at some point I heard music, like loud music. And I thought it was music coming from the PA inside the stadium. I was just 20 meters, less than that, 15 meters, 10 meters outside the stadium. And I heard the music, and then I realized, I thought, that sounds like It's So Easy. And then, it took me a split second to realize Guns N' Roses is already playing. This was at 10 to 9. And I don't know if I've ever heard of a concert starting early. They start late all the time in Mexico, except the top, the Rolling Stones and Metallica. They're very punctual. They're very well organized. I thought, Jesus, I'm missing Guns N' Roses. So I went in there. And there were still long lines to get in some of the sections. In the gate that I had to enter, it was not so bad. And a couple of things that now in retrospect, it all kind of comes together. I had the poster tube, which is a big, kind of a heavy, thick, solid tube. I thought, they're not going to let me in with this. I had my power bank in my jacket pocket with my charger, because I knew my phone wasn't going to last all day and all night, spending it at the bus terminal. I had a liter of water with me. And I had a selfie stick too. I take my my merch videos with the selfie stick. I thought, they're not going to let me in with any of this. And I showed them my ticket. They said, go. Nobody frisked me. Nobody did a metal detector. It was very, very easy. So now I'll fast forward a little bit. They ended up cutting when they ended the main set with Night Train. I thought that felt short. It felt shorter than Merida. Merida felt long. And then I thought, okay, I know, because I know they're playing the same set every night. Okay, the encore is next, and I know they play Coma, Patience, Don't Cry, and Paradise City. And so they came out and they did Patience. And near the end of Patience, I realized, shit, they didn't do Coma. And Coma is probably my favorite Guns N' Roses song ever. And then I realized the reason that the main set seemed short was because they also didn't play Better, which they've been playing on every show this tour, including Merida. They didn't play Sorry, which they've also been doing every show. They didn't play, there were four. Shadow of Your Love was another one. And Coma was the fourth one. So they cut four songs. And it ended at 11:27, which it started at 8:50 and it ended at 11:27, which I thought was strange because I thought if there's a curfew, I think it would be like midnight or something. So I thought that why did they cut four songs? And then it turned out what happened. They posted, Guns N' Roses posted on their social media sometime after the show. They said, "Hey, Mexico City, we're sorry that we had to cut the show short today, but we had to think of everybody's safety and the crew and things like that." They didn't say what happened. I thought, what's going on? And then I read some of the comments, and people were saying that people were talking about like filing a class action lawsuit. I don't know how serious that is, but apparently that going in, there's a general A section close to the stage, and then a general B section a little bit further back, as there is in most concerts. And this is like a 30,000 capacity stadium, and apparently there was like one gate to get into both of those sections, and it was just like 3 meters wide. I saw some people saying this in the comments, and it was taking people hours to get in, even after they opened the doors. I'm not sure if it was, I guess because it was so tight, so closed, and apparently lots of people were just running in, sneaking in without tickets. And so I guess it was something to do with that. There was some production problem. And so I still don't know why Guns N' Roses had to cut their set short because of that, but they did. So that was a little bit disappointing. And I think they cut Wichita Lineman also. So that was kind of disappointing for an outrageously priced ticket to miss, 4 songs. That's, I think, pretty significant. And Coma is like 10 minutes. That's probably 20, 25 minutes that was cut. Anyway, ni modo. What else can I talk about? Oh, the general, as I said about Axl, I think Axl, I don't think he sounds nearly as bad as people make it out to be. As I mentioned in the Merida video, he seems to have lost some of his power when he sings high. I think he still sounds great when he sings the lower register, Mr. Brownstone, and what else? Absurd, I guess, some other things. I think he sounds great, but just when he sings high, at some points, I remember especially as Strange, and there was another one that I noticed tonight that I thought, I can see that his voice doesn't crack. He has a very, I think, different situation than Paul Stanley, David Coverdale, John Bon Jovi. Those guys seem to have having actual throat problems. Axl I have no problem. I think Axl sounds, obviously he doesn't sound like he did in 1987 or 1992, but I think he still sounds okay. So the sound was way louder than Merida. I didn't mention that, but the sound in Merida was quite quiet and not the best. But the sound last night in Mexico City, it was very loud, not deafening. I wasn't, dying, but it sounded good. It sounded loud and much better too. And I could hear Axl better too. Maybe that's why I was more aware of it. Something else that I didn't mention about Merida, it occurred to me, I don't know, at some point halfway through the Merida show and also at this show, there's no pyro at all. They've had pyro the last several times I've seen them. Big, especially during Live and Let Die, there's lots of pyro, and I don't know what other songs. There's no pyro at all. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they had it at shows in South America. I would think not. I think it's a big production to have pyro, so if they're not gonna have it at some, I think they're just not gonna have it period. I'm not sure why. Sweet Child of Mine. I had a very interesting moment when that song started. I love that song. Maybe at some point I did kind of get tired of it, but I don't think I ever really got sick of it. And I love that song. Just a beautiful song. It's not quite a ballad, not quite a rocker. And what happened when they started playing that, I felt very, very emotional. I felt like really like a lump in my throat. And this happened to me twice before. I remember it happened when I saw Metallica in 2017 when they played Ride the Lightning. And Ride the Lightning, I like it. It's not even close to one of my favorite Metallica songs. And when I saw Iron Maiden in 2019 when they opened with Aces High, those three, Guns N' Roses doing Sweet Child of Mine last night, and the other two, I just felt very, very emotional. I guess I was subconsciously thinking these are bands that I've listened to since I was Metallica, since I was 13 or 14, 1983, late 83 I got into Metallica, Guns N' Roses in 87, Iron Maiden in 82. I think just the emotion of that just got to me. I don't know why during those songs, but I really, really enjoyed Sweet Child of Mine. And I really enjoyed November Rain too. I was not really a big November Rain fan for a long, long time, but I've come around to it in somewhat more recent years. I love November Rain. I got to start listening to that more. Estranged, I'm still not sold on. I don't think Estranged is that great. I know a lot of people love it. Something else that I really like that Axl does. I mentioned that he doesn't talk to the crowd. He used to always be good for stories and rants and, saying funny things. And, he's a funny guy. He's very charming. But since they started back together in 2016, he's been all he says is gracias or thank you or muchas gracias, whatever he says. Doesn't say anything. Well, I mean, he introduces the band, that's it. And I think that's kind of disappointing. It loses the spontaneity, and it feels like a Broadway show or something. That it's just like a well-rehearsed machine. And I like a little bit of, I don't need a band to make mistakes to enjoy it, but it feels a little bit sterile. But what I do really, really think is cool that Axl does, and he did this a lot in Merida, and he did it last night. I guess he does it everywhere. He looks at somebody in the crowd. Presumably he's looking at somebody specifically, and he gets this really, really big, very genuine looking smile on his face. And he goes like this and he waves them. I really like that. I don't know why. I think Axl is a very, obviously I don't know the guy personally. I did meet him twice, and he said hello to me the second time. I don't know if it was because he remembered me the first time. I had met him a week earlier, and he saw me and he said hello. I don't know if it was because he remembered me or he saw me looking at him. But and I think Phil Anselmo from Pantera is like this too. They can be the most charming, charismatic, friendly, just really sweet guys, and then they can just be like petulant assholes too. But I like this Axl's big smile and wave. I like it a lot. Oh, and Axl, and his look was great tonight. I mentioned in Merida, he's got such a weird. His hair is so weird. And in Merida, he wasn't wearing a hat. So especially when you saw him from the side, his hair is to about here. And it looks like a hair helmet. It looks like he just puts it on like Darth Vader. And last night was not that this matters, but last night was a better look. He was wearing his big hat and with his bandana. I think that's a good look for him. So, such a minor thing, but I thought I would point that out. And I think that's it for the concert. And then when it ended, I did walk back to Tascania, the bus terminal. It was a 2-hour and about a 2-hour walk. I left the concert at 11:30, got there to the terminal at 1:30. The bus left at 5:40, and luckily I had a friend who was awake, and we messaged for a couple of hours talking about he's a big Guns N' Roses fan, and we messaged about the concert. We started talking about music, so that was good entertainment for me. I had planned to just kind of, maybe see if I could take a nap, but I never did. I had something to eat. I had like a pollo con mole empanada and some chips and a Dr. Pepper. Isn't this exciting to know what I'm eating when I'm waiting for the bus at 2 a.m.? There's a guy pissing on the street in front of my house. I see that a couple of times a year. I wish I could turn the camera around. No, why do I wish that? Why do you want to see somebody urinating in public? He could get uromycetitis poisoning, I suppose, if he doesn't relieve himself. So then the bus left at 5:40. Everything was okay. No traffic at that time. Even in Mexico City, there's no traffic at that time. So I was back in my house at 7:15 or 7:20. Woo! That's it for the concert portion of this video. Now on to GnR Lies, or just Lies. This album for me, I like, let's say a range of indifferent to like half of it and love half of it. There's 8 songs on this, and it's very easy to distinguish them. The first half was, they had, before Appetite for Destruction, they had an EP called Live Like a Suicide. And it was 4 songs, I think. 4. I don't think Shadow of Your Love was on the original EP. So they, but that was long out of print. So they put this out kind of like as a stopgap. This reminded me of Metallica Garage Days EP. You know, something between albums to tide people over. Kind of new. Metallica did covers. Guns N' Roses did a couple of new songs, a couple of these old songs that were reissued, some covers. I love this album. This came out in, I think it was December '89, and I loved it. But just going through it now here quickly, the track listing. So Reckless Life is the first song, and it is the 4 original songs that I don't like as much. I like them. They're okay, but no, I never got into them that much. Never really learned the lyrics to any of them. So the first one is Reckless Life, which they did play last night, and they're playing on this tour. Reckless Life, it's okay. Like I said, it's in a kind of a fast-paced, chaotic song, up-tempo, rocker. It's fine. Nice Boys, Don't Play Rock and Roll. That's a cover of a Rose Tattoo song. And I was never into Rose Tattoo. I think I still have never heard the original Rose Tattoo version of Nice Boys. That one I like better than Reckless Life. Actually, I would probably say Reckless Life is my least favorite of the 4 songs that were on the Live Like a Suicide EP. Next is Move to the City. Kind of, I like that one. That's probably my favorite of these 4. Kind of a slower paced, a little bit bluesy. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it. But another one that I never really get into, but I do like that one. And then Keep in Touch with Mama Ken. Dun, dun, dun. The Aerosmith cover, of course. So 2 covers from the original EP, Live Like a Suicide. Nice Boys and Mama Ken. And 2 new songs. I was never a big Aerosmith fan either. Much more Aerosmith than Rose Tattoo. Forgive my dogs here barking. And I've seen Aerosmith live, I think 3 times. Last time was a long time ago, I think like 1990. Yeah, I have seen them 3 times. But so that's the 1986 version from Live Like a Suicide. Now, this was where the second half, because I still, I still sometimes think of this as an album when you had 2 sides. So the second side was way better for me. These were new songs. Patience, which they also played last night, and they've been playing on this tour. I loved it when I first heard it. I love it now. That's a perfect, great example of a ballad done right. It's not a sappy, big power ballad like Poison, Something to Believe in, or Warrant Heaven, or these bands that have the quiet verses and then these big kind of loud choruses and sing about lost love and things like that. Patience is just a really, really nice acoustic song. Whistling, Axl's a good whistler, and I love Patience. One of my top Guns N' Roses songs for sure. The next one, I like all 4 of these songs. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I used to love her, ooh yeah, but I had to kill her. She bitched so much, she drove me nuts. I love that song. Used to love her. Love it. Oh, just a fantastic song. Maybe I like that one even more than Patience. Oh, what an amazing song. I wish they would do that live. I don't think they've done it since they've got back together, starting in 2016. I don't think they've done that. I wish they would. Just 2 more. Next is You're Crazy. This was a quiet acoustic stripped down version from the Appetite for Destruction version, of course, which is very fast and You don't want my love, you want satisfaction. Oh yeah. I think I like this one better than the original version. They're quite different. Maybe the acoustic one is better, but probably I do love it. But it's my least favorite of the 4 acoustic songs. Now, forget about what I said about Patience and Used to Love Her. My favorite on this album is One in a Million. Um, I love, it's acoustic, but then the guitars, the electric guitars come in a little bit, and they're electric guitars, but they're still quiet. It still is kind of a it's not a mellow song, definitely not a ballad. If you know One in a Million and you know the lyrics, and especially 2 separate words that Axl sings, you know what I'm talking about. I love One in a Million. That's maybe my top 3 Guns N' Roses songs. I think my top 3, in whatever order you want to say them in, probably Coma, Rocket Queen, and One in a Million. And when they reissued Appetite for Destruction a couple of years ago for the anniversary edition, they included this as bonus tracks, and they excluded One in a Million because of said controversy. Cat hair. So that's it for GnR Lies. That's it for Guns N' Roses in Mexico City. That's it for Guns N' Roses for me for a while. I guess it'll be a couple of years before they're back again, maybe longer. They've been in the news lately. Slash said the other day that they are working on new material, but bands say that all the time, and then 6 years later, the music actually comes out. No, not Metallica. Who's really bad for that? Anthrax has been talking about a new album for years, and it's probably still a year away from coming out. Testament just started talking about a new album a few weeks ago, and while they were still touring. And it's just, I get tired of bands talking about albums. Just record it, put it out, and that's it. Don't talk about it. Just go in there, do it, and yeah, be done with it. So that's all. What time is it? It's 10:24 in the morning. What am I gonna do with my day? I'm still not tired. It's probably gonna hit me like a truck. The fatigue. I feel perfectly fine. I feel still full of energy, but I don't know how I should handle my day. Are you concerned? But that's all. So for Guns N' Roses, GnR Lies, Damien, again, thank you. You did the right thing. You are a good guy. Thank you for having a conscience. And that's all. Thank you for watching. See ya.